Main Street simmers in the late afternoon, the parade rolling forward in a patchwork of sound and color. At its center, astride witch hunter, the golden horse with a reputation as fierce as his name, the CEO makes his slow, stately approach. His Poor Me t-shirt flares like a flag in the sunlight, and the knowing smirk beneath its cracked crown signals a defiance born from years of scrutiny. Ahead, the float bearing St. Ghislaine glides, awash in petals and silk doves. In living memory, no local figure looms larger than she does. Her image, severe brow, gentle eyes, watches over the town square, her story woven into the fabric of every family legend. But behind the familiar iconography is a tale with teeth. St. Ghislaine, they say, was not always the smiling saint. In youth, she was stubborn, angry at injustice, remembered for binding her feet in rags to shame the wealthy into noticing the cold. She'd once turned a banquet upside down with a single speech, calling out hypocrisy while half the town held its breath. When the council exiled her, she walked barefoot for a year, sending letters of forgiveness to those who had condemned her, not to earn virtue, but to lighten her own heart. She wore her suffering like armor, but all the while invited others to share their hardships openly. Later, when her statue was erected, it was with the stipulation, written into town law, that the bronze show a smile, however ambiguous. These stories shaped him. He'd grown up the son of a factory supervisor, just enough comfort to imagine risk, not enough to avoid failure's sting. The CEO had tumbled through investments and venture misfires, his name rising and falling in local gossip. Too ambitious, too brash, too willing to turn humiliation into spectacle. When the whispers sharpened, he found himself drawn to the statue's shadow at dusk, reading and rereading Ghislaine's exile letters preserved in the local archives. Her voice fierce and unyielding, "May our wounds be badges, not shackles. To be mocked is only to be seen." He took it as permission, maybe a challenge, maybe a dare. Launching Poor Me was never meant as bravado. It started after the city's quarterly review, where the press had called him delusionally optimistic, painting him as little more than a punchline. Instead of retreat, he ordered the sample shirts, orange and bold, emblazoned with that cracked crown. To his surprise, the townspeople bought in. Not out of sympathy, but solidarity, a wink at their own scars. He never met St. Ghislaine, she lived centuries back. Yet in the privacy of his mind, she was a kind of companion. A flawed, extraordinary figure who'd suffered, who'd forgiven, who'd paraded her weaknesses as if parading herself. The CEO, broad-shouldered and sweat-slicked, sometimes imagined her walking alongside Witch Hunter, barefoot, her smile suggesting that dignity need not be quiet, nor shame a thing to conceal. And so, when Main Street's heat draws a hush and his horse steps in rhythm with the cheers, he rides for more than spectacle. He rides for everyone who's ever been mocked and then turned it, somehow, into celebration. He waves, catching confetti, and meets St. Ghislaine's gaze on her float. A silent recognition, testament to the shared absurdity of struggle, survived and worn without apology.